Hey guys, it's Carter. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic day today. Now in today's video, we are going to be talking about swing trading, but we're going to be talking about some positions that we took, why we exited some of them, why we added some positions. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this. If you guys do, hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget, if you guys want to learn how to become a swing trader, the strategies, the approach, check out our school. You guys can use code LEARN to get 50% off. It's absolutely fantastic. We got private live streams, quizzes, lectures, a group chat, and everything you guys need to get started with swing trading, whether you're a beginner or you're a veteran in the market just looking for more strategies and more ways to make money. And 50% off, code LEARN, 50% off. So check it out down below. You won't regret it. All right, but guys, let's dive into this here. So what positions are we holding? What positions did we sell? So let's talk about stocks here that we're holding. So we entered ticker symbol ELV. Now, the reason why we entered this, we entered with a small position. Now, the reason why we entered small and not heavy is just because this past week we've seen a lot of volatility. For me, when I struggle or, when I go through a little bit of a rough patch, which all traders do, I take a step back. I start small and I slowly, get back into it. And the thing is I will tell you this, a small week for me as of right now with AVGO, we're up a little over $1,000 and we made $65, something small, which is pretty much a break-even trade. One of our positions. So, but in general, diving in for a stock here, before you enter a position, you need to look at this company. You need to try to know as much as you can about these. So for me, the strategy behind this here is looking at this chart here. What do we notice? We have this really, really good upward trend. It sold off down to $520. So, you guys can see it's gone from 400 all the way up to 500, which is really, really good. Another thing I liked about this, as we look at it here, it does have a decent little trend line here, as you guys can see. Let me back it up just a little bit more. So you guys can see it has this nice little trend line, as you guys can see, where each and every time it hits this, we get good buying pressure, right? So, for a trend line for me in my approach, we want a minimum of 3 touches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then recently 7. So we understand that this trend line acts as a very, very hard support for this stock here, which is really important. The next thing we look at here is the RSI. The RSI is trading for a 28, which last time it was trading for a 28 was back in here where the stock went from about 480 all the way up to about 540 in a matter of like 2 days. Previous to that, it was all the way back in here on the first initial touch of this, and it went from 400 to about 470. So, this trend line acts as a very hard support, as you guys can see. Another reason I liked it here is as we look at it, it's approaching the 200-day moving average line, which acts as a very, very hard support for the stock here. So breaking down this chart here, and the charting we use is Moomoo. They're absolutely fantastic, and if you want to sign up, you guys can. I'll put a link to them down below. You guys can get up to 20 free stocks. So for me and my approach here, entering here, near and around the 519 mark, we're risking about $1 to make about $4 a share, and that's with keeping our stop loss, just below that 200-day moving average line, and our target all the way up here at, the old resistance near and around 557. So I definitely see this stock hitting that 200-day, popping its way up. But one of the more important things we want to look at here is the hourly. We want to see kind of what's going on. As of right now here, we do have this general downward trend, which is something to take note of, but what I want to do here is look for either a consolidation where the stock just continues to sell, continues to consolidate and not really sell off, or I want to see something like this where the stock pops up. That's why our stop loss is pretty tight. We wanted to enter a small position here and just see if we can get some good buying pressure on some of these lows. And if we can, then we can always add more to our position on either a breakout or, some sort of trend reversal or confirmation or whatever it may be. A stock here that we recently did this on was AVGO. You guys know we entered here on the breakout here of the 90-day moving average line, continue to rally its way up. The daily looks very similar if you actually look at it, comes in contact with that 200-day moving average line. It was undervalued on the RSI. So yes, it did work out very well. And I was very confident in this position because we always love the 200 over the 90. We took a trade on the 90 here actually on a couple of positions on ticker symbol CL. CL here was a stock here that was on a trend line, as you guys can see, but one of the things that did concern me about this position, and this was a stock that we made, I think like $60 or $50 off of, so it was really not that much. We made more money because we were holding a decent amount of shares. But you guys can see it has this trend line, but one of the things I didn't like was this huge separation from moving average lines. It was at a 42 on the RSI, a low at the 32. So for me, I got in here, as you guys can see, on the breakout, near and around the 102 area, popped up, consolidated, and I didn't like how it just dipped down. And if you look at it, it popped up and tried to break out through that moving average line. At one point, we were at highs at 104, so we were up like $150 at one point, and it just slowly started stair-stepping its way down. And now that it's underneath these moving average lines and we didn't get that breakout, then we just exited the position. And yeah, the trade wasn't a huge trade. I get it. I get you're right. But, what makes a successful trader successful here is just consistency. So, yes, we only made not even 1%, but I'm telling you, as you become, a profitable trader, one of the things that really stands out for me is just taking profit, right? I was in on a position that I didn't like the setup. I didn't like how it was breaking down through support. So I was up, so I took a little profit. At the end of the day, when you're a trader, it's not about these massive returns. It's about these 1, 2, 3% returns that just compound over the course of a year. I tell you what, that is what makes up a very successful trader. Now, another position that we took that was actually our one and only loser this past week was JP Morgan Chase. JP Morgan Chase here, as you guys can see, I really liked this position. Looking at the daily, is one of those stocks here that sold off down to that 90-day moving average line. It had recent support, as you guys can see, and honestly, if we would have entered right where I wanted to, near and around the 208 area on the breakout above the moving average line, then we would have been up handsomely on this trade and we would have made a decent chunk of change off it. And so for me, looking at this, I think it's smart to always look and go, okay, how can I improve? So for me, it was all about the entry for this position. You guys can see it had that nice trend line up. It could be even riding that trend right now a little bit. So we could get some nice moves going forward, but I'm not too worried about this position. And you guys can see one of the main reasons I exited this was this huge initial sell-off here. It sold off and just did not break above it. So we just exited the position. And we initially got in because it broke out and it started to use it as support. So I was thinking, okay, we ride the wave up like this. And you guys can see that initial dip down. So we just exited and now we're on to other opportunity. And I tell you what, do I regret any of that? Absolutely not. Because trading, it's all about base hits. It's all about not trying to get rich quick. When you're wrong, you exit the stock. But when you're right, you can go heavy in like AVGO, and you always can add more when you're right. So for me, I'm not worried about this. I'm not worried about the general market we're in. Historically, over the past 6 years, I made about 50% of my money in the last 3 months of the trading window over the course of a year. So, like October, November, December, those 3 months are always very, very profitable for me. And it makes sense because the general market rides up the last 3 months of the course of the year. So that's all right though. But guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And overall, I hope you guys learned something. Yes, even a full-time trader like me has a week where we don't have a crazy return. And I tell you what, that's completely fine. And, I know it takes, it maybe makes beginners go, I don't know if I want to trade. And if you're thinking that, I'm sorry, but you're already in the wrong headspace. And, I just think it's better to just sit back, relax, and sit on the sidelines. So, guys, hope you guys all enjoyed it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.